So today what we are essentially going to do is we are going to do three things. That is how to establish external equity, that is equity, market pricing. And then we are also going to talk about certain compensation analytics. For example, the comp ratio, the red circle, the green circle, and the min, max, the salary ranges, etc. Okay. So just to connect the dots, we talked about three equities as per the pay equity theory, right? All of you remember. And all of you remember that we talked about internal equity, external equity, and individual equity. So what is external equity? So today we are going to deal only with external equity. So what is external equity? That means what? When I'm trying to compare my organization salaries with the market. So when I say, when I'm comparing my organization salaries with the market, what does it mean? The number of the positions I have and the way I'm paying, uh, are they being rewarded in a similar fashion, for the same amount of work, similar roles and responsibilities in the market? That means, are they being rewarded fairly in relation to those who are performing similar jobs in other organizations? Got it? Is that very clear, guys? Okay.
Yes.
You may say, but why? Why should I know? I'm going to pay what I want to pay, because ultimately affordability is something, it's based on my profits. It's based on what I can afford. But say, for example, you don't want to even look at market data and you are just paying based on your own gut feel or whatever, then what happens? You may be paying actually more than the market. Unless and until you know what the market is paying, how can you compare whether you're paying more or less? Got it? So what does it mean? It helps you to what? Be competitive. What is competitiveness? Only when you know what is your competitor paying, right? Because unless and until you are able to pay better than the competition, or what exactly and where exactly you want to pay, only then you are able to actually then decide on a compensation strategy. So that is what is called compensation strategy. So when I'm actually designing and defining my compensation strategy, there are certain things I look at. What are they? Hey, with respect to my pay levels, how much I want to pay vis-a-vis the market. It's one. Okay. Then am I going to pay all the jobs similarly, or am I going to keep what certain jobs competitive, certain levels, certain functions based on my strategy, based on my business goal? Okay. And then who are my competitors then? With whom am I actually going to compare? In relation to who? Then what kind of mix I want? When I say mix, you're going to take into consideration all the compensable, all those what we talked about components, right? That is direct pay, indirect pay. That is, will I pay more base salary? Will I pay more variable pay salary? Why am I talking about that? Because some organizations say, like for example, insurance, service organization, etc. I need to really drive performance. Then what will I do? What kind of a mix will I have? Anybody? I'll feel good here. Huh? What kind of a mix will I have? If I want a high performance, high revenues.
More of a
Pardon?
variable pay.
Absolutely. I will have more variable pay. Now it's a organization where, I have to actually have deep pockets of R&D. Then what kind of a mix will I have? High base pay, because people won't come and stay with me for longer term unless and until I give them a good amount of, okay. Will it be short term or a long term? Okay. If I want people to stay for a longer term, I will give them long term incentives like ESOPs, etc. But then my organization is such that I have to make, quick performance. So I will be giving them short-term incentives, right? So all this is driven by a compensation strategy looking at my business goal. Then definitely what kind of job evaluation techniques I'm going to follow for my jobs. That's also very important. Like, for example, there are certain jobs. Not all jobs I'm going to do hay plan. Not all jobs I'm going to do point plan. Why? Because there is a certain unique position in Seema's organization, okay? Working in what? Logistics and supply chain. Now, the demand for that position is so high. So will I stick to my point plan and say, hey, no, the position is quite low, so I can't pay this much? No, but that's a critical position. So maybe I will say, hey, I'm going to go by just purely market-based compensation, because the market is paying this much, so I have to pay that much. Otherwise, I won't get that position. Got it? Huh? Just give me a thumbs up when I'm just few things. All right. So that's one. Then I'm also going to define my salary, my compensation strategy based on, hey, what are those behaviors which are very, very important to be rewarded? Because if I want a high performance, so teamwork is important, right? Innovation is depending. Like, for example, if there's an organization where a lot of creativity is required, R&D, milestones. So what kind of a behavior then? Innovation, creativity. So these are all important things when these are all those elements when I'm actually designing my compensation strategy. So therefore, all the more important that what I know what the market is paying. Because it's only on based on the market, I'm actually going to then decide my compensation structure. Okay, guys, just give me a thumbs up if you have understood everything. Okay. So when we are going to talk about external liquidity, it's all about what? What is the market paying in relation to the similar jobs what I have in my organization. So when I'm doing that, typically I will just use a free method of teaching so that you understand better. All right. So when I'm wanting to know market, how will I go about? If I want to do what is the market? Okay. How will I go about? Okay. So essentially, when I get to know market pricing, I will then decide whether I have to lead the market or lag the market or on par. All right. What are these words? Lead the market means I want to pay more than the market. Lag the market is I want to pay less than the market. On par is I want to pay as much as the it is. Typically, when you're talking about market pricing, it talks about, I'll teach you this maybe, but I'm introducing these things. We talk about midpoint, or we call it as 50th percentile. I'm sorry. What is it called? 50th percentile. Whenever you look at a data in the market, you will typically get the midpoint. All right. Why? You won't get the min or the max. Typically, you will get the midpoint. I'll teach you how to calculate this and how do we do that. So when I say lead, so when you know the market is paying X amount, then you are going to increase it by maybe 10% or 15% of that. All right. When I say lag, then you may say this could be like, okay. So maybe plus 10%. Okay. Then when I talk about lag,
minus 10%.
exactly. Or maybe 15% also. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Sorry. Then on par will be equal to, right?
Yes.
Equal to. So when I talk about lead lag, also I can then segment my critical positions. Maybe I'll pay more. My, not so critical positions, or depending on the supply and demand. So these are again further other elements which can look at. Are you with me, guys? Please. Huh?
Yes.
Okay. Now, having said that, typically when we are doing that, first and the foremost thing is I have to identify the positions for which I want to get my market data. That means what? Benchmark
Positions.
Benchmark position. The question I'm going to ask you here is, what do you mean by benchmark positions? Anybody? Very important. This is a word in market pricing or salary survey. You need to, guys, please don't hesitate to raise questions, or if you have not understood, please, because I would rather have you all ask questions and have clarity on this. So when I use something called a benchmark positions, what does it mean?
You're comparing
Benchmark.
yourself with the competitors, probably.
See,
The common
when I'm talking,
positions,
when
apart from the unique
yeah,
positions.
you are very closer, Muhammad. Common. So what I meant is your organization may have 30 positions. Your organization may have 40 positions across different job families at different levels. Correct? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Now, having said that these positions are across different levels and different job families. When I say job families, they are job functions. Okay. It could be production, it could be finance, it could be HR, it could be supply chain, etc. Now, when I say benchmark positions, you want to get market pricing. What does it mean? That you want to look at those positions for which you want there are similar positions in the market which you can compare, but you have a very unique position. Say, for example, Snehalata has a very unique position in her organization. She works for a very unique organization. There are 1% of jobs which are very unique. Now, can you then match in the market? You can't.
Yes.
Unless and until there is a position which is already there in the market, similar position, which is there in the market, you can't compare your position. So that is why they are called benchmark positions. Benchmark positions, like Mama said, common positions, which are stable and which can be matched with positions which are existing in the market. Are you with me now? Okay. Now, having said that, now when I say first, I will also put one here as this is the first. Okay. Okay. So when I said this benchmark positions, now list out whether you want, so they should be typically at least 30 to 40% of your positions. Now, they should not go by titles. Look at the job descriptions and match them with the jobs with which you want to compare. So that means they should have at least what typically the thumb rule is 80 to 85% of the job description has to be matched. Got it, guys? Huh?
Yes.
When I say matched, what does it mean? Take the job description, look at it in terms of role, responsibilities, everything. It has to be comparable. Got it? Now, second thing, what will you do then? You have to then look for what?
Similar industry we need to look into.
You have to look at competitors data or companies with whom you want to compare. Now, compare companies. So there are two kinds of companies. One is, say, for example, an automobile company. You will look at what similar automobile companies. Okay. So that means similar industry. Okay. Then you also look at similar size, scope in terms of revenue, etc., scale. Okay. Sometimes you can also look at what? Location. Right. And that is one. You also look at companies which are actually, where your actual skill sets are going. Not necessarily that they're going into the same industry, but they can also go into different industries where they're using your skill sets, right? So even that is very important. And where will you get that data? From your what? From your, when people exit, you will
Exit
have an
interview.
interview, right? Exit interview data. Huh?
Yes.
You
Or
can
you
get
can
it from
actually know.
recruitment team also.
Huh?
Maybe a recruitment team can also from where we are hiring as well.
So typically your recruitment will get you this data. Okay. Okay. Done. Then what will you do? You have done this. So then what will you do? You will Anybody? Collect the data, no? Right? You will collect data. Now tell me what kind of a data will you collect? You will collect data, both direct,
Direct and indirect data.
indirect components of the salary, right?
Yes.
Okay. In fact, you can collect your policies, procedures, working conditions, lot of things. Now, one way is, instead of going through all this, you can also, you want data. Today, what we can do, you can actually buy published salary surveys. What can you do?
Salary survey.
Published salary survey data. And who will give this data? You know, Hewitts and
Consultants.
Mercers and Watsons and Hayes, all of them give this data. Okay, at a certain, this is cheaper at a certain. And if you want to say, hey, I don't even want to spend money, one is you can also participate, right?
Yes.
You can also participate in the survey and you will get the data. Now, once you have done this, you have to analyze your data. That's the challenge. How many of you have actually used survey data and analyzed or interpreted data? So when you are analyzing data, then you start using what? Percentiles, quartiles, deciles, right? Midpoints, etc. Now we'll learn how to do all that. Okay? Is this very clear, guys? Simple.
Yes.
I made salary survey very simple so that it is not like a black box for you. Very simple. And essentially what it is, actually you are trying to get data. You are trying to actually see whether you are paying fairly in relation to jobs which are doing similar work in the market.
And
Got it?
Nirmal, I have a small question.
Yeah, please now.
For the salary survey data. So, for example, if we don't want to pay to any external consultant, so is it possible we can do by ourselves inside the company by in-house survey, something we can do it? It can be, whether we can use that data as a benchmark data or something like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. You'll have to ask your recruitment department
Yes.
where you get absolutely very accurate data
Mhm.
to start documenting, the pay slips, all of them who keep coming from different organizations. One is you can start looking at that data. Okay.
Hmm.
Then sometimes what happens, you have certain unique positions. You also want to know, hey, I'm losing talent to these companies, but definitely they are at a higher end because I cannot. In fact, in the first session, I talked about product leadership, customer delight, and operational excellence, right? So as a company, as my business strategy model is operational excellence, and I cannot pay high salaries. I'll be at a 50th or 60th percentile. But if I'm at a product leadership, I'm at a higher salary. Then I have to get the best people. So what happens typically? So you can call them for interview. We do that.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry, but we HR people, agar, I'm sorry, I don't want to use Hindi, but okay, अगर घी सीधे हाथ से नहीं निकलता है तो you say typically use it with because we got to get the accurate data. It's not that any data is good data, because then I will be getting inaccuracy. So I have to find out. So there are very many methods, or maybe through friends, or maybe like you will say, hey, there is a job. Have you noticed a lot of times you will find whether even it is in IM jobs or portals, there are jobs. Why do you think they ask? They ask your resumes then. There won't be jobs because a lot of people say, hey, ma'am, I'm not See, there are so many jobs existing, but they don't even call for interview. They're all fake positions. Huh? So they're actually collecting data sometimes. Are you with me? Huh?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Uh,
So that
but
means the recruitment team has a vital role to play in this.
yeah, you have to maintain. And I'm also coming to why recruitment team is very, very important when I talk about comp ratios, etc. Okay. You have to document, keep it ready. And today AI does everything. You can make it high tech actually. Okay. Huh? Nobody is doing the mechanical way of doing things. All right. Okay. Now, this is very clear. Now, having done that, I don't know how many of you have actually seen a compensation survey data. Let me just see. Okay, so somebody wanted to know where can I get free data? Surely, guys, payscale.com, Glassdoor. There are, there are certain websites which give you free data. Now, if I want to use free data and I don't want to pay money, do not rely on just one website data and say, hey, this is what they're paying. No, take 2, 3 data points and then see if there's a huge variance. Now, you have to be very, very cautious that if you're using that data, is your job description matching? Because that is very important. As I again said, your project manager title may be the same, but the scale, scope, size, everything, responsibility, everything may be very, very, huge for one position. And that's where the salary is very high. And for another position, just the title is the same, but it may be at a low level. Are you with me, Muhammad?
Yes, yes.
Huh? So just don't go by title and then salary.
Yes.
Very many of us do that. So I'm again insisting, go through the job description model. Okay. It's a very old, very old salary survey. But why I chose this is for the fact that it's a very simple salary survey data for you to understand. Because if I show you something like a Deloitte or a Mercer, where they give you for all industries and at all levels, so that will be a little confusing at this point of time. So for you to understand very easily, what did I say in the first place? So when you are looking at some published data, so the first and the foremost thing is you have to look at, hey, are there companies which are there similar to my companies? The first and the foremost thing, right? Say, for example, you are working in an IT company, got it? And so you have this Watson data, for example. Now, so you have to look at, are there similar companies, the same size, scope, etc. So the first thing is I need to look at what? Companies. So let us look at what are those companies here. Say, for example, okay. So this is an IT company with, say, about 25 companies who are participating. And I am looking at, don't look at the position now. First, look at these are the companies. Got it? Okay. So what will I do if I want to use the data? I will typically look at that. But if I am, for example, a chip company, which is actually, it involves a lot of high technology, which is different from IT or a service company. So I will say, hey, then I can't compare myself with these IT companies. Are you with me? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, if this is an IT company, so I can see, hey, yeah, there are similar companies. I can see all, so even my company is comparable with this. Then I will look at the positions. All right. I'm looking at positions. This is a published data. All right. So these positions are classified into job families or job functions. Guys, job family and job function are similar. Okay. So HR is a job family. So there'll be various levels of jobs in that. Or finance is a job family or job function. So you will see that, yes, now I have all these functions. So just don't go by their titles. So when they publish this data, they will also give you job descriptions for all these positions. Are you with me? But here, for the sake of, we are assuming that you have matched them. Okay. So what's important is just don't get swayed away by just titles, but look at the job descriptions as well. And after that, what do you do? How will you? Then go and look at So a lot of things you will get. These are things really not all GAN in a report. So what is very, very important is I need to go and look at my data. Are you able to see this? Huh?
Yes.
Everybody?
Yes.
So typically when you see a summary, when you see published data, it will be published. 25 companies have been taken. So it will be published in what? In a percentile format. It will give you 10th percentile, 25th percentile, 50th percentile, 75th percentile, 90th percentile. I'm sure most of you know what is a percentile, but yet to give you an understanding, what do I mean by percentile? Anybody? If there's already somebody who knows it. Okay. What is percentile? It is comparative.
Average.
Huh? It is not percentage.
Average of.
No. So, say for example, I don't know how many of you are familiar with a CAT exam, a MAT exam, competitive exams. Typically, you will say, hey, 90th percentile, I got 99 percentile. Okay. What does it mean? That means when I say a 75th percentile, 75 companies are 75% of the companies are paying below, and 25% of the companies are paying above. When I say 90th percentile, that means 9 companies are paying below and 10 companies, 10% of the companies are paying above. So if you have taken 25 companies, you need to now then do a statistical technique by these, any amount, it could be 1,000 companies or 50 companies or 60 companies. Now, how will you compare? So you will translate them into a percentile format, Okay. Now I want at this moment, first of all, let me actually teach you how to do. Okay, let me just do one more step and then teach you. So now, for example, this is what you have seen 10th, 20th. So how will you interpret your data? So Seema wanted to know, how will I interpret data? I have now the data, published data of market. Now, how will I interpret data? So when you look at salary data, it gives you an understanding of your own positions, pay salaries or salaries, vis-a-vis the market. Okay, where are they? Okay, are they at a 25th percentile? Are they at a 50th percentile of the market? Are they at a 75th percentile? Okay, you get to understand how far or how ahead or how am I behind? Am I lagging, leading? Where am I in a position to compare? Got it? Muhammad and Jagmohan, or are you able to get it? For example, say for example, your HR say senior vice president, he is getting, this is all data, he is getting a salary of 35 lakhs. All right. What? A senior vice president, director, or a vice president is getting 35 lakhs. Or in Dubai, okay, dirhams. So where would you put yourself? You are comparing now. So where would you put yourself for
Between 50
consulting?
to 75%. So you can say 60, 65%.
Are you seeing that, all of you? Are you able to now
Yeah.
decipher, saying that, hey, I'm able to then position myself saying, hey, I'm paying actually vis-a-vis the market less than the 75th percentile, maybe
Yes.
around, you can actually calculate all, even 60, 65, etc. So less than the market. For example, I'm saying a principal consultant in the consulting function. Okay, he is getting about, say, 12 lakhs. Where am I? I mean, where is my organization? I'm comparing now. Where am I? First of all, I have to analyze, right? Where am I paying?
Yeah.
What am I
Same.
paying with the market?
50 to
The market.
75%.
Yeah, above the 50th, but
Yeah.
lesser than the.
Less than
70.
70.
You with me now? You with me? So, when I look at the market data, it gives me an understanding as to, hey, where are my salary ranges vis-a-vis all those positions with respect to different families? Am I lagging? Am I leading? But that doesn't mean that I have to immediately hike it. Will you hike it?
No.
Then what will I do? I will actually have a meeting strategy. So I'm going to then, because it gives me an understanding of where am I in relation to market. Now, I will then, depending on my need, make a course correction, because sometimes you may be lagging behind because you have not at all made a market correction. So you will then start making market corrections, but not necessary that you're going to increase that person's salary. That depends on various other factors, administration. But essentially, it helps you to upgrade or make course corrections with your entire salary structure. Are you with me? This is very, very important, guys. Deciding, increasing market, making market correction does not mean that I'm going to give Muhammad increase in salary. That depends on how critical is his position, what is he bringing in, what kind of a performer is it, there are various things. All right.
Yes.
But I want to make my salary structure as per the market. So it gives me that data to make market correction. All right. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
having said that, let me also at this point of time teach you how to make. Now, just before we move on to that, I also have to look at when you get market data like this, published data, if they are saying total guaranteed cash, it will be written. What kind of components have they added? Okay. Have they added basic A? Have they added variable also? Please, A plus B plus C or only A plus B. So you have to look into consideration all that. Are you with me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Now we'll stop share and show you this interesting thing as to how, and then you will have to do it yourself as well. Okay. So this is something which only a consultant will know. But anyway, I think you are actually fortunate. If you go into a book also, you will not get this. Say, for example, Muhammad, I'm sorry, because I can only see Muhammad's name, Atindra's name. I'll use Atindra. Atindra, are you there?
Yeah,
Atindra?
yeah, I'm
Huh?
there. Just joined. Yeah,
You just joined, is it?
yeah. I'm traveling, but
Nirmala, I also have a quick question. Actually, I guess more of a question, more of your insight on this. Sorry to just
Who is this?
interrupt.
Atindra? No, I'm sorry. Is
Maitri.
this
Yeah.
Maitri?
Yeah.
Yes, Maitri. Please tell me.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to sort of holistically know what your insight is. I guess the question is, so now that I work for mergers acquisitions, when we are acquiring, say, X company in a pharmacy out in the US, their pay scales, depending on state and federal regulations, are very, very different. So we just
Little louder, if you don't mind, Maithili. There is slight,
hang on.
network
Yes.
problem, I think, at your end, actually.
Yeah, I've just set up the new connection in the new apartment, so it's
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, tell me.
yeah. So is this better now? Let me just
Better.
okay. So I guess my question is, now that I work for the mergers and acquisitions department, when we are acquiring company X, and the federal regulations, state regulations are very, very different in each state in the US. So we can't literally jump onto data and reach the compensation team. So what we sometimes happen to do is just compare X company's equity with what ours is, and if it is higher, we just keep them as it is. If they're lower, then we bring them up to an equity placement of, let's say, 2.53%, just so that we adjust the averages. So I wanted your insight to know what's the best way, because we don't get into all this market pricing, etc. Would that actually be a better approach? When we deal with
Maithili, you can actually catch up with me on a WhatsApp. Definitely, I will give you an entire detailed solution. But
Okay.
I will just give you an overview broadly, especially
Mhm.
with respect to merger and acquisition.
Yes, that would
Okay.
help.
And typically, say, for example, there are two companies, okay? A large company, Say, for
Mhm.
example, there was this acquisition, what is it? Acquisition by Ranbaxy, huh?
Hmm.
Which is a pharma company,
Yeah.
all right? Very big company.
Yeah.
And their salaries, okay, they were leaders. So they were about 80th percentile or so on and in general, for all positions I'm talking about, okay?
Mhm. Mhm.
And they were bought by a small company whose salaries were actually low.
Hmm.
Got it?
Hmm.
That means, so the small company acquired, and this big company was already paying high salaries.
Yeah.
That is high percentile. And this small company. Now, what happens typically in India only? So these two companies are Indian companies statutorily. Huh? So when you are doing this, essentially the fundamental principle when you are doing a merger or acquisition, yes, you have to do a reorganization of all the entire structure, right? Huh?
Right.
When you say reorganization, then you are looking at all positions with job descriptions, because
Correct.
your company here X, which is a smaller company which has bought over, will
Mhm.
also have similar positions, huh?
Right.
Doing the same effort of work, etc. But Y company is also having similar positions with the same effort, but paying
Mhm.
higher salaries.
Yep.
So you will start doing what I call it as a restructuring, and
Hmm.
then look at quickly what happens at that point of time. Then high positions, but you really you are then again deciding on your compensation strategy, where you want to pitch, where you want to position.
Hmm.
So what happens is in the restructuring. So if Y company is already paying high salaries, so your top people with high salaries, typically you are given pink slip because you don't want to, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's one. So that's one whole effort which goes on. So what important thing I'm driving is that yes, definitely, because there will be positions in both the organizations doing the same similar nature of work, but
Mhm.
having pay differentials.
Hmm. Right.
So if you are saying pay equity, you can't have inequity,
Correct. Right.
because inequity means two jobs doing the same job, same work, but you are paying differently. Now, when it comes to US and here, let me be very, very clear about US rules. Okay. Pay equity is very, very important for them.
Yeah.
Even in fact, when I talked about all this pay inequities, they also look at further kind of analysis where they are also looking at male, female, why is a male getting more if there is the same job, right?
Yes.
Huh?
Yep.
So all that. So
Mhm.
especially now that you have said that it's a US company, you have to also look at their statutory regulations, which are very, 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 very compliant. Huh? Very, very. Sir,
And yes.
absolutely, because
Yeah.
I have worked there for some organizations.
Mhm.
So I will give you a deeper sense of all this.
Mhm.
My apologies, because
No problem.
we have a lot to go, but definitely I can take it up later if you want some more input on this. Okay,
Understood,
Maitri?
Yeah,
Madam.
madam, this is Atindra here. May I have a question for you?
Yeah, tell me, Atindra.
Yeah, my question is that if it has been found in some organization, in the lower grade people, suppose in the level 8 or level 7, they are outlier. Their salary is more than market level. In the middle level, it has been found that their salary is as per the market. But in the higher category people, if it is been found they are getting much lower than the market average, then what should be the best solution or strategy?
No, no. But there are several other factors. When you said lower level person, I may be
Yeah,
having a supervisor at a lower level in a manufacturing organization
exactly,
who's put
exactly.
in
Yeah,
20 to 25 years, and he's having, because of his tenuity, I'm having broad only three levels where he is at a very high salary. But there might be a fresher or with just 1 2 experience who's in a higher grade, but who is drawing lesser salary, right?
yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
So it needs more input, Atindra. Again, what I'm trying to say is you cannot just jump to conclusion by just having just a small piece of data. Are you with me?
Yeah.
There are
Okay.
many other factors. There are many other factors, because in your organization, what are the grades, what levels, what is the salary, how did you predict? So there are many things to look at. Got it? So
Okay.
definitely, you can WhatsApp, or you can also call me. And before you call me, give me a detailed input on what is the challenge, and we can definitely give you
Okay.
some input on that. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you.
Atindra.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank
All
you.
right.
Yeah. All right. All right.
Yeah, because here I'm actually teaching those fundamentals which you can actually go back and do them, and you will not get them in any training material, training book. All right. So I talked about percentile. Now, how do you do a percentile? Say, for example, you are the HR head uh, of a software company. All of you guys, participants. Okay. Now, you have to hire a software startup, software engineer. Now you are saying, hey, I want to hire at an 80th percentile. So Maithili, how will you go about doing? You're a startup. You are the HR head there who's recruited and saying, hey, you have to recruit people now. So, and since you are also not one of those typical ITES, you have to have better quality people, better software engineers. You have also decided saying that as a business goal that, hey, we want high, good quality people. So we want to pay at an 80th percentile of the market. So how will you go about, Maithili?
So first I would need to know exactly what their niche skills are, what their description of the job looks like, then move on to the grading and pricing part.
Okay. Okay. Can I stop you at that? Anybody else? Anybody else? This
First,
is
we
just to get a feel of, that you all are there. Otherwise, silent listening also. Yeah.
Yeah,
tell me.
so considering that all the job description are perfectly matching and all, but 88th percentile would
There is
fall.
no all job description. There's only one job description of a software engineer. So I'm talking about a software engineer JD. Okay. Now you have a software engineer JD. How will you go about, what will be your strategy in hiring people at an 80th percentile? Simple. So what will I do as a HR head? Okay. I will say, but what, I don't even know. I only know 80th percentile. But do I know the salary at 80th percentile of the market? I don't know. Okay. So how will I do it? Say, for example, so what will I do? I will look at, just like those 25 companies, I will look at certain companies who are doing similar kind of, work or similar kind of product services, etc., who are employing software engineers. All right. Say, for example, A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, P, M, N, O, P, Q are these companies, names of companies who are into, these are my competitors or peer companies who are doing similar work. Now, I want to pay for 80th percentile at what these companies are paying. Did you understand that point first? Everybody? Okay. So what do I need to do then? I have to know what are they paying at a software engineer, right? So I have to get market data for this company A. What is it paying? Say, for example, market A is paying 22,000, you can say dirhams or rupees per month, right? For a software engineer. So likewise, B is paying 17,000, C is paying 31,000. So you have an entire range of data. Understood? Just give me a thumbs up, please. Understood? This is
Yes.
a range of data. Where did I get
Yes,
this data from? Where did I get this data from?
the companies.
From the company, say pay scale, whatever. Now, I want to pay 80th percentile of this. How will I find out? Simple. There are some statisticians also. Sneha is a analytic person. So, how will I find out the 80th percentile of this? Simple. What will I do? Formula?
Yes, percentile.
Insert function? Huh?
Yeah.
Then insert function, what will I do? I have to do what? Percentile. Okay. I will just put here, then I'll get the data. Okay. So this I will cancel. Huh? So what do I want? 80th percentile, no? So insert function. Now it will open up. So can you see percentile here?
Yes.
So let me just see it. Okay. So will I do okay? Then a window has opened up. Array. Array will be what? My
Salary.
okay. Now K. What percentile do I want?
80.
85%.
80. Okay, 85%. Somebody said 85 percentile. So what will I do?
85.
0.85. Okay. What is the amount?
22,100.
Are you very clear now how to get from the market data you have collected from the list of companies, how to translate into percentile? Got it?
Yes.
Do you want me to do one more?
Better.
Huh? Okay, we'll do one more. So this is, let me put it as 85th percentile. No? Okay. Now you will guide me. I will put here. I want 75th percentile. Will guide me.
Equal
Okay,
to
what will I do? Insert function.
Insert percentile.
Percentile is already there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Select the
Array.
array.
Array's salary monthly.
Drag it. All right. Then
Put the percentile. of the
what will I
salary.
put in K?
Why you're
0.75.
not selecting Q?
Huh?
Why you select only C18 up to C6 to C18? Why not
Did I do
C19?
that? Sorry, dear. I think. Thank you. Eye for detailing. Okay. Now done. Okay.
0.75.
Absolutely great. Then okay. Hmm?
Yes. Yes.
Enter.
Yes.
Where did it go? Anyway, it went off somewhere. I didn't see that. All right.
It went to
Now
It's
A8.
column C, column C.
A8. It went to A8.
Oh,
Column
okay, 75. It is
Company C.
21,500.
21,500.
21,500.
Okay. Now this is a startup company, and Maithili was a head chart, and she had to. So now she knows that she has to pay if she wants to attract talent from the market at an 85th percentile. Her salary should be around 22,100. Got it? Okay.
Yes.
Say for example, I'm paying a salary of 17,000. Okay, and I want to be at an 85th percentile. Then what will I do? One is directly find out 85th percentile, 22,100 and pay the difference, right? That's one. You also want to know what is 17,000 at what percentile is that of the market. Okay. And the other is percent rank. Now let me do a percent rank for you guys. Okay. Okay. What is percent rank now? Insert function. Okay.
I missed the difference between percent rank and percentile, Nirmala. Can you help me understand what is the difference? What does percent rank mean?
Percent rank means then you will get into decimals as to this data on a rank of 1. If 1 is the number, at what decimals are they? Okay. Now just see and then I will tell. So just watch this. Got it? Right. So you got it now. X. So you want to know at what percent rank is, say for example, this one. Okay. This C8. At what percent it is point? No, it's actually 1. I want to do it again at 1. Say yeah. So what is the highest data? 100 percentile is your
35,000.
34,000, which is 1.
34,000.
And what is the lowest data? Can you see my cursor?
Yeah,
14,000.
14,000.
So your range of data is between 14,000
34.
14,000
234.
to 34,000. Now I'll tell you what it is. Okay. So this is your
Salary range.
This is your range of data. Okay. Now this range of data has been divided into percentile, and your 50th percentile, if you use, you will get what? 18,000. Got it?
Okay.
If you use 90th percentile, it is 23,400. So when you are comparing data, can you look at this data and then say, hey, how much I want to give. No, only when you translate that into percentiles or percent rank, you would know where you want to, I mean, in relation to the market, where you want to position yourself. Am I with you? Guys? Huh?
Yes.
I'm
Yes?
sorry, I'm not able to understand that percentage rank bit of it. If you can explain it more, please.
Yeah.
The percentile bit is very clear. The
Very
how
clear.
the values are coming is very clear.
Rank, what? Now, percent rank means you are ranking your data. So one is a between 1, okay,
Mm.
to what?
It's
0.
1 to 1 only.
0 to 1.
Got it?
Mm.
So if you notice, like a Q is 0.615.
Mm.
All this, so 1 to 0. So you
Mm.
are actually what? Ranking this market data between percent ranking. That means 1 to 0. Are you with me, Seema, now?
Yeah.
So
got it.
when you get your market
I-
data, when you look
we-
at data, if you want to do it yourself, like Muhammad said, I don't want to spend money, you can easily do this. Got it?
Okay.
we can put
basically
in
then-
we can put this into another way, like for example, we have the present rank, right? So you can multiply into 100, so you will get to know the percentage. Like for example, it is a 76.9 percentage of this
Yeah,
position.
you can also do the
So
percentage.
it will be between 0 to 100 percentage. So which
Absolutely.
person, so the person company C is 34,000, he will get 100 percentage. So the
Absolutely.
rank,
Absolutely.
we can put it in
Alright.
another way.
So I'm going
Perfect,
to give
thank
you
you.
a exercise which you already have. Okay. Now, is Vilma there? Vilma, would you like them to do it independently or would you like them to do as a group?
In the group,
In the group. So I leave it to you how many groups you
three
want to
groups.
make.
Three
The
groups.
one recently I sent, that's all about the percentiles. Okay. So I will explain to them also. I'll show that now. I'm stopping this. Any clarifications here? Because I'll go on to another one, huh? The exercise which you have to do. Because you will get some understanding when you do it yourself. All right. So all of you have this data. Okay. I'm an IT company,
Mm.
right? Huh? And I want to get market data for my software engineer, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, right? And at grade 1 will be 0 to 1 years, grade 2 will be 1 to 3 years, and grade 3 will be 3 to 5 years. Okay. I have collected data from these companies, which are similar: Wipro, TCS, Infosys, Simplify, iGate, all this, Value Bonds, L&T. Got it? Now, the market data, when I say, as I said, it is 50th percentile or midpoint, which is 3,65,000 per annum. Got it? Or you can also take it as dirhams for grade 1, for grade 2, grade 3. Again, TCS is paying this much. Infosys is paying. So you have all the companies there. You have the market data being paid at grade 1 for all the companies. You have market data being paid for grade 2. You have market data being paid for grade 3. All right. Now, the question is, I am a current, I am a company. Say, for example, we'll take Maithili's company's name. All right. Luminos, is it? Or somebody else? Luminos. Huh? They are paying 3,60,000 at grade 1, 6,20,000 at grade 2, and 8,20,000. Okay. I was paying this, but now I got this market data to see, hey, where am I? So typically, when do I actually go wanting to compare? Because typically I want to attract the best. Okay. I also want to retain. So therefore, I want to know what that. So I want you to calculate for my current company. Okay. All right. First of all, I want you to calculate. I have not calculated that. 10th percentile, 25th percentile, 50th, 75th, and 90th. Okay. Having done that, then please find out, am I paying by what percentage the current actual pay is higher or lower than the market midpoint only. Please, I insist, market midpoint. That means you have to compare it with 50th percentile. Please don't compare it with your 10th or 25th. Obviously, I'm comparing it with my 50th percentile of the market and say whether my current actual salary for grade 1 by what percentage is higher or lower. Don't look at whatever is given. It could be right, wrong, whatever. Okay. Are you very clear with me with the assignment I've given you? I want you to just tell me how did you go about in 2 minutes, 1
Yeah,
minute.
so
in fact.
basically, since it's a formula based, so I have just copy paste all the formula in all the cells and make the
Absolutely,
changes,
absolutely.
the percentile value in each of the cells and got these
Yes.
values.
Yes, this is good. Now, what is very, very important for us is to look at a 50th percentile, right?
Right.
Yeah. So the 50th percentile for the market is how much here?
260 for 0 to pay.
260,000, right? For
Right.
a grade 1.
Grade 1.
So then I said, hey, what is the current actual pay vis-a-vis the 50th percentile? So while the 50th percentile is 260 market data, and I'm paying how much?
360.
360, which is actually 38% plus. Means
Yeah.
I'm leading.
Yes.
Am I leading?
Right.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And in the second, I'm leading by
51%.
51%. And in the third, I'm leading by
41%.
41%. Now, having said that, maybe when I started recruiting people, I just, took software engineers. Mine was a startup company and I really wanted to take the best people and I took them at, because plug and play. So obviously they came with some experience and I them at such high salaries. Now, what will I do? My compensation strategy, if I know that, hey, I'm really paying much higher than the market, then
So there are
maybe
two
I
things
start-
we can do, ma'am. That in the next annual increment, our increment percentage should be less. And second thing, whenever we hire any new candidates, we have to give little less rise as compared to the current staff.
So if I'm going to pay very high, obviously my profits will be very reduced. One scenario, maybe this company was wanting to hire the best top end people, IITs, excellers, or top end economists. They were doing into competitive intelligence. Like, for example, what Deloitte did when they started this market intelligence vertical. So they hired the best people with very high salaries. So it could be like 38%, 51% high from the market. And then, but to sustain the business, you can't continue. So what they did was, then they gave them options of taking higher responsibilities in other verticals. Or if people wanted to really try, because then after the process has matured in 2 to 3 years, then they started taking people at a 50th percentile or at a 60th percentile of the market who are really from tier 2, tier 3, etc. So that because business also has to sustain. If you are going to really pay very high salaries, you can't sustain the business. What does sustainability mean? That means profits. Got it, guys? Huh?
Yes, yes,
So there
yes.
are two scenarios. Got it? One is, so, and like Mama said, so, but then if you're paying high salaries, you can't really taper it. So the high salary people, then we will look at comp ratios there. How you will start giving them lesser increments when you're taking people in. But then these people maybe have been taken at a very premium, so they will not stay. So you will have to have another strategy for these people as well. Okay,
Yes,
so we'll
yes.
talk about that during the comp ratio time. So excellent, I think. Can I have another group just for my satisfaction? Having, if you have done that, yeah, good,
I'll just
very
stop
good
my
work,
screen.
guys. You can all say now you have become what good competent when what is it? Data analysts. Now, Seema, you can go back and do this.
Yeah, I've
Very
done
simple.
it because I
Very
think just to get
easy.
confidence. Yeah, I was doing it on my own, then I understood. Yes, you're right.
This is the second group. So likewise, if you are going back, you can do it for all your positions,
Yes.
benchmark positions. Okay. Yeah. And if you have published data also, you can compare yourself. Yeah. Second group. Yes, guys. Excellent. All of you have become really perfect. My God. Then you don't really need consultants to work for you. Or you will be able to actually see exactly when the consultant comes with data, you're also able to, understand it very well. Because if the consultant says, hey, you are at a 7P and at a 75th percentile and at a 7 decile and a 3Q, you will be able to understand here what is this person saying all about. Okay? Yeah. Then who is the MC? Who is going to talk about it? It's good to talk about it. Quickly, guys. Just talk about the 50th percentile. And here also likewise, yes, all of you have got the same value, 38% high, 51 and 41%. Great. Okay. And I'm sure even the third group has the same thing. Huh?
Yes, we do, Nirmala.
Okay, great. So all of you have done a very good job. But just show that data to
Yeah.
add another additional point for you all.
1 second. I'm just sharing my screen.
Anybody just to screen the same data if you can screen. Okay, now that you have got the data, one thing typically what you can do now is, what is it? You have a, okay, somebody's already done that. So for your grade, now, you can see, say for example, this data itself. You can create this as what? A percentile rank, or you can create, say, a percent rank, which is from 1 to 0, or even a percentile. Now, this data, market data, can be divided into quartiles. What is quartile? Anybody? What is quartile? Can I use? Oh, I can't.
It is
Data divided into four
Four.
equal parts. Okay. So if your data is divided into 4 equal parts, your first quartile will be what? Cut off at? My cursor is here. Quick. Everybody, yeah, this group can do that now. Tell me. Your first quartile Q1 will be for market data. What is the value? Quick. 25th percentile.
25th.
If I do quartile,
250,000. Got it? Your first, don't have to calculate. Your data is here already. Grade 1 I'm looking at.
It's 20,
Your first
250.
quartile Q1 will be
250,000.
250,000.
50,000.
Okay. Q2 will be
34.
260.
260,000. Q3 will be
315.
315. And 100 percentile will be your, it is only 90th. You can calculate that. Got it? Very clear? Muhammad and others, please.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, decile. Decile will be what? Calculate 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Decile means 10 equal parts. Snehalata, please don't get.
Yes.
Are you there, Snehalata?
Yes. I'm there. Yeah.
So 10, so D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, D6. Got it? So decile is 10 equal parts, quartile is 4, and percentile is dividing it into each one part, into 100 parts.
100 parts.
Okay. Now, are you guys really good at it? The theoretical part was simple. You can read it up. This is the part which you typically don't understand. What does this consultant like Mercer and Hewitt, they don't tell me how they went about. This is what they do and give you. Got it? Okay. Hi guys, I hope all of you are back, because it's important that everybody should be there. All right. Okay, welcome back. So just to do a little recap, guys, we talked about salary surveys. Now, I'll just take a minute to tell you that when you're doing salary surveys and when you are looking at published data, it can be industry wise, you can get location wise. Okay, it can be across different industries, locations, or you can also do a customized study. And when you talk about dipstick study, essentially means what? That you are actually looking at certain positions which you are not able to either get sufficient candidates to hire, or a lot of them are actually attriting. So what you do is then you will call up, you will look at certain companies, or you'll call up placement consultants and quickly find out what their salaries are. That's called a dipstick study. Just as we, put one needle and check for the gas. Okay. As simple as that. And then I also talked about, when you are choosing a survey, especially, published data, you have to look at all that industry, location, what the job evaluation process is, what companies are, etc. Okay. Only then you are able to get the right kind of a data. And most of the published data will also have a lot of good HR practices. What are they doing? What kind of a job evaluation have they used? What kind of benefits, etc. All these are things which come additional with the survey. This is I have actually. Then the benefits of a salary survey is it also helps you to not only know about your salary ranges, but also helps you if there are any inequities, like, against women, against certain labor markets, certain geographies are paying more. So all these inequities are also, you have data for which you are able to then see if there are any inequities. And especially, as I said, in US, they typically look at what are those things which, and they take a lot of, especially with racial and women, they are very particular about is there any bias, is there any salary inequity? Not so much, I think, in India. There it is statutory. Okay, and when we talk about job equivalence is nothing but job matching. I told you about that you have to actually match the job descriptions, which takes into consideration everything in terms of role, responsibility, scope, impact, all that. Okay. Now, having said that, now I have collected data or I have published data, all right, last year. The question is, can I use the survey data this year? Anybody who can just tell me, can I use the survey data this year?
Yes, we can use it.
Yes. So that is called aging of data. You can use it, but you can't use it just as the data is, because the data could have changed because of the market forces, because of the, now cost inflation, right? Consumer price index, etc., etc. So what is that called? It's called aging of survey data. You can use it. I can say you can use it for a year, or you can also use it for 2 years, but not more than that, because then the accuracy is a question mark. Okay, so aging of data is nothing but increasing the market survey data by a certain percentage. Now, how do you do it? This is the formula. Okay, how many months you want to age it? Is it for 12 months or is it for 6 months? So step one will be, you have to know how many months. Say, for example, 6 months. So what you will do, step one, 6 months divided by the 12 months into the aging factor. Now you may say, what is this aging factor? Typically, if you search in a Google, or if you look at all the salary surveys also, they'll give you something called the aging factor. You can't actually calculate because it takes into consideration a lot of elements like cost inflation, location, etc., etc. So GDP, everything, and then it gives you an aging factor. So typically, I would say that you get this from published data, or you also can get it from the internet. What it is called aging factor for salary. Now, what you do, once you get that aging factor, so step one will be number of months divided by 12 into aging factor, which is called survey aging factor. Now that survey aging factor has to be multiplied with that. For an HR position, the market data is something, right? So you have to multiply it. Then you will get the increase of pay in that position, which is called a change in pay, you can say. And then you can add it up and you will get your present annual pay rate. How will you do it? I'll show you an example and also make you do it. So it assumes annual pay rate for a position, say for example, HR manager is 40,000 dirhams or rupees. Okay. Now here, instead of the aging factor, is also given you a survey aging factor. Very easy. So survey aging factor is 2%. All right. Now the data has to be aged 6 months. That means you have to bring it forward to 6 months. So how will you do it? Simple, no? 6 months is the period divided by 12 is equal to how much? Into your survey aging factor. 2% is converted into decimals. So will you agree when 2% is converted into decimals will give you 0.02? Any mathematicians with 6th and 7th class of knowledge will give you that much. So if you multiply this, you will get this as 0.01. And all that you need to do is just multiply 0.01 into 40,000. Where did I get 40,000 from? It is the
base rate.
market
Annual.
data, annual pay rate 40,000. So what is the difference? 400. So when you are using that data after 6 months, you have to add 40,000 plus 400, which gives you 40,400. Very clear?
Yes.
Now, all of you do this individually. Annual aging factor for jobs in India is 12%. Okay. A is the market rate of a job currently priced at 100,000 or 1 lakh. And from January to January. So I'll simplify it. That means 12 months. Okay. Can you do it quickly?
112,000.
Huh?
112,000.
Already somebody said, great. How did you get it? Okay. Now I'll show you the black box opened. So look at it, please. You can actually take a picture, camera picture also. What is the time frame, January to January? 12 months.
12 months.
So I have to bring it forward. No? 12 by 12 multiplied by 12% will be 0.12. So when you do this, what? It's equal to 0.12. Simple. So 0.12 multiplied by 1 lakh will give you 12,000, which is a change in pay. So 12,000 plus 1 lakh. So Muhammad was right there. 1,20,000. Got it?
And
Okay. Huh? Somebody said, yeah.
Small question. Small
Okay,
question.
tell me.
No. For example, if aging, the data is 18 months or 20 months, how we can calculate it?
Yeah, then do it 12 months and then 12 months. 12 months, do it for 12 months, say for 2 years or for 18 months. First do for 12 months, then again do for 12 months.
I want the fraction.
Because
I want
I'll
a
tell you why.
fraction.
I'll tell you why. Why I said 2 times. When you do 12 months, here, say for example, the same thing will take this. Data has to be aged 24 months. Okay?
Mhm.
So when you do it for 12 months, what will you get? 1,12,000?
Yes.
Huh? 1 lakh.
Yes.
Now you will use that 1,12,000 for the next 12 months.
That is, you can
Or
say,
you will
compound
use
rate.
for 6 months. Are you understanding me? Because the market has changed for 1 year. Then you will use that. Instead of 1 lakh, you will put 1,12,000. Got it?
It's not like that. No, 1,12,000 and 1,06,000, not like that.
No.
So your
You have
base
to
will
do it.
change to 1,12,000 then, right?
Yeah.
Your base data will change the next year, right? First do it for 12
Yeah,
months.
correct. Got it.
And then
Yeah,
do it if it is
I got it, I got it.
18 months, then for 6 months. Or if it is for another 12 months, the base will change, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's like
Got it,
compound
got it.
interest.
Thank you.
Compound
Thank you
interest.
very much.
Okay.
A compound
Okay.
method is.
Compound interest. Okay. So we are closing with this, guys. All the everything about the salary survey is done now. Okay. Now you have to, so you have to understand certain compensation terminologies, common terms we use. Okay. One is called the compo ratio. Okay. So, and then we'll talk about midpoint and the min and max. So first of all, I'll teach you what is first of all the mid and the max. Any organization, think about your organizations. You will have certain salary bands or certain salary grades. Yes? Yes or no? All of you will have level 1, level 2, level 3. For example, look at this picture, basic pay structure. You think this is one grade, huh? This is another grade 2. This is another grade 3. This is another grade 4 and grade 5. So this picture shows how many? How many grades?
5 grades.
5 grades. Okay. 5 grades. Now every grade will have, so this is grade axis and this is your salary, your salary. So every grade will have what? A grade range, salary range, min and max. Say for example, grade 1 has 10,000 to say about 25 or 26,000. Okay. The second grade will have how much? It's having here, say 15,000 to 40, 41 or 42. So you can see grade 3 likewise. So what is min here? 10,000.
10,000.
Minimum is the minimum point at that range, at that salary range, and maximum is that. So you know that every grade will have a pay range or a salary range. So this is called min and max. So when you talk about a range, that means it is also called width. That means the spread. When I say narrow width or a narrow spread, that means the difference between min and max is very narrow. When I say it is very broad, that means the difference between, say, for example, at a grade 4, it's quite broad. Okay? It's quite broad. Are you understanding me, guys? Okay?
Yes.
So grade midpoint is the midpoint of that range, which is 50th percentile. So every grade will have a min, which is, and max, which can be divided into 4 quartiles as well, with the 50th percentile. Got it? Now, so maximum rate, minimum rate, and as usual, there will be some pay anomalies. You have to check, hey, what are they? There could be exceptions and you treat them separately also. Okay, depending, somebody said, no, here some positions. So you also treat them separately, looking at what those positions are. Right? Now, having said that, let me just see this once. So when you talk about the same thing, so there is, you know, what is the salary range, you know, clearly it is stated here. Huh? And there can be an overlap of grades. What is the overlap? That means your higher grade can start somewhere from the previous grade. Okay, there can be a grading system where it will start only when from the max, or one can start even from the midpoint, or one can start a little above. So there can be an overlap of, like, for example, here in this, there is a 30 to 40% overlap. Okay, some can have just about 15%. So depending on your organization, depending on the kind of industry, depending on the career progression, etc., these overlaps will be done. And not necessarily that all grades will have the same overlaps. Are you with me again?
Yes.
Overlap is what? The midpoint differential between the lower grade and the higher grade. Please remember, what is overlap of grades? Midpoint differential between the lower grade and the higher grade. Got it? That's one. Now I'm talking about another concept called the salary range of every grade need not be the same. Lower grades can be just 15 to 20% width. Higher grades will have higher width, because there is also a certain thumb rule. There's a certain thumb rule. What is the thumb rule? That lower grades, okay, will have lesser spread, 10%, 20%. Now you, please, what is the spread? I want you to be clear. What is the spread? Anybody, can you just quickly tell me what is the spread?
Plus or minus, plus
Min and
10%
max.
or minus.
Difference between min and max.
Simply, who said that? Simply, to be very direct, difference between min and max of a grade. Got it, guys?
Okay.
Difference between min and max of a grade. That is called the spread. Now, you may say, what is the spread and why is it important? If a spread is very narrow, that means a person can be staying in that grade only for 2 years or 3 years. But when the spread is broader, the tenurity in that can be longer. Simple, no? So why narrow? Why very small spreads at a lower level? Because the job is such that there is not much progression. So person gets, see, from at an entry level, in 1 or 2 years, he gets promoted. And thereafter, again, another 3 to 5 years. So accordingly, your grading structure also has to be designed in such a way that the person can actually be there in that grade for that many years. And how is it done? I told you last session, I think. I mean, when I did the cluster analysis, what is it? You have to mechanically Do the iteration depending on at every grade. If you are giving an increment and an average performer staying for 3 years or 5 years, then multiply that and then create your what grades and extend the max. Clear? Please give me a thumbs up. Okay, done? Clear? No, yes, no, no. No thumbs up.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is how it is, just an example. Like this is the minimum, this is the maximum, this is the midpoint. So what is the midpoint differential from one grade to the other? These are the midpoint differentials. And this spread means that is the difference between maximum and minimum. Clear?
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Higher the grade, higher the spread, lower the grade, lower the
Lower.
spread. Let me see if you have anything else. Okay. Now coming to what we call it as very interesting, compare ratio. What is compare ratio? Anybody who has heard about it? It is also called comparator ratio. Okay. It is also called comparator ratio. First of all, let us learn how to calculate compare ratio. Okay. Simple. For example, if Seema is in, what is her? So when I say compare ratio itself, it's a ratio. Ratio means two variables, two data points will be there. Okay, numerator, denominator. So what is it? What does it take into consideration? The base pay of an individual. What? The base pay of an individual. It compares it with the midpoint of that grade. It compares with the midpoint of that grade which the person is in.
Okay.
Multiplied by 100. For example, the midpoint of a particular grade is 50,000, say grade 1. And the salary of an accountant 1 is 45,000. Base salary. Base salary. Okay. Now, how will you go about? So simple. 45,000 divided by 50,000 multiplied by 100. But not 95,000 may be wrong actually. There's a small error. I have not calculated.
55%.
Okay. Yeah. And again, likewise, say for example, you can also do the same thing with your market midpoint. What is it? So market midpoint is 60,000, salary is 45,000. So 45,000 divided by 60,000 multiplied by 100. Okay. I'll just show you more data.
So what is the difference between doing a person's grade midpoint salary and market midpoint salary? Why we need to do these two?
No, don't have to do it. But yeah, I'm coming to that now. Okay. Now, how does it help you? You may say, hey, but compare ratio, but I have to have certain benefit, no? If I'm doing this compare ratio.
Yes.
A recruitment. When I'm recruiting a person for a finance manager, okay, now I will find out if I have to offer an X salary or Y salary, I'm actually going to look at what? I'm also going to look at, hey, there are other people in the same position. What are their compare ratios? Am I offering this guy higher than that, which will create a salary compression, what we call it as? For the same job, am I offering a higher salary as in compared to people who are already there? Got it?
Yes.
Are you with me? One.
Yes.
If I'm comparing it with the market, it also helps me to understand, hey, am I giving it higher than the market or lower than the market? Okay.
Yes.
So, compare ratios help us, to help us to hire, right? Because then I'm able to fix the salary. Because obviously I can't just give some salary. I have to compare it with people who are doing similar jobs. I have also to compare again with the market as well. So I look at that. Two, it also helps me to during the annual increments, because the philosophy of a compare ratio is higher the compare ratio, that means I'm paying higher the salary. Are you with me?
Yes.
Because say for example, so this 8,000 to 12,000, what is the difference?
4,000.
4,000. So at L1, this person stays for 4 years, okay, with an increment of 1,000 rupees, okay, average performer. Now, say for example, Bhavesh is at his base pay. Bhavesh base pay is say 9,000. So what will be the comp ratio then?
9,000 upon 10
1,000 divided by 10,000.
into 100.
Yeah. So tell me how much is it?
10%.
Yeah. 10.
90%? Or
20%.
can I also say
0.9.
Huh?
Yes.
Can I say 0.1? So for
Yeah.
10,000, how much it will be?
100%.
100.
100. Okay. And this will be 1.
Yeah.
Okay. At 11,000, it will be?
1.1.
Yeah. So at it will be 1.10 percent. Sorry. And it will be 1.1. Now look at it. So when I typically compare salaries, so 90% is a less salary, right? 100% is at a midpoint, market salary. 110%, that means I'm paying. So typically when I know that my employees are there, so I actually decide my recruitment policy, my promotion policy based on the comp ratios. I'll say, hey, I will not bring in people at a lateral, maybe at best midpoint, 100%, okay, comp ratio, not beyond that. Why? If I bring beyond that, it will be higher salary. Then entry level recruiters, no experience, I will tell, okay, maybe at a min of 80% or maybe at a 90%. Okay. But if I bring a person at 110%, what will happen here? That means he has only 1 year and he'll reach off here, right?
Yes.
He'll reach here where it is 120% comp ratio. So what does it mean? Then where does he go after that?
You need to
What
shift
will
it
he-
to another grade.
I have to shift it to
Another-
another grade, whether he is a promotion material or not. I brought a very bright student, Seema, and brought her at 110%. But after that, she has been in 1 year, she's shifted to the end maximum. Now, but she's very good, but I can't promote her now. So what happens? I can't give an increment.
Yeah.
Now, what do you do? So there is something called red circle rule. What is this red circle rule? That means, okay, that is why it's very, very important to look at comp ratios and do the recruitment within, and then look at the within the team, etc. Okay, because if you have a team already sitting at 110 and 100, then if you are bringing another person, your team will also become high cost because that team is sitting at. So you have to also proportionate how many at a min and at midpoint, etc. So if say, for example, this example is max shares, what will I do? I can't give a increment.
Yeah.
If I don't give increment, Seema will say, I'm such a bright employee. They brought me from such a good organization, promised me a lot of things. Now I'm there saddled. So at best, you can give something called performance bonus.
Yeah.
Equivalent to a rating scale, whether it's 3%, 4%, whatever it is. Okay. A rating scale, we give a performance bonus. But this is not going to be factored into her base salary. Are you with me?
Okay.
That means it is not going to become a part of the salary will not get, the base salary is not going to increase. So for 1 year, 2 years, so she'll be getting only performance bonus. So sometimes organizations, do end up in such cases. Then what happens quickly? Either they promote that person because he's a great top performer, or sometimes because market corrections have not been taken place, so therefore that person's max is still here. So when the market correction has taken place, maybe that grade has stretched, so he begins to again get increment. Okay. Then the other route is, hey, not promotional material, and then the max also cannot be stretched. So, I mean, the structure also, I'm not reorganizing it now. Then what happens typically, then you guide them, consult them, whether if they are good performers, you put them into another department. Okay. Or if they're not very good and all that, then you let them actually go.
Yeah,
So there are different kind of strategies to resolve this. Obviously, good talent, you will not let them go. You will try to deploy them in other departments. Are you with me, guys? So the best thing not to land up in this situation is your recruitment policy of not bringing in people already here beyond a comp ratio, which is 110, 120, etc. Is this point very clear?
Yes.
Red circle rule. Okay. Now, having said that, there is also something called green circle rule. Okay. Well, these red circle rule, green circle rule will hold good only if you are a professional organization wanting to maintain sanity and compensation structure. But if you are an organization where you are actually hiring by handshake, etc., so there won't be any salary grade structure at all. So if you have hired him here, it will keep on increasing. Are you with me? Okay. And thereafter you will see, hey, what's happening? Huh? Now, what is green circle rule? Green circle rule means I have a person who is fit enough for this position L1. Okay. But that guy is only getting 6,000. You can't say I will offer you 6,500. You have to offer him at that minimum 8,000. That means you cannot have him on board less than the minimum salary. That's called your green circle rule. Are you with me, guys?
Yes.
You can't say because, but there are organizations. Right now he's getting X amount only. But in that grade, no, the grade only starts with a higher salary. So I don't want to give him, I'll give him less salary. Let me tell you, you can't do that. And especially in US, you can't even ask him what his salary of the previous job was. Okay. That guy can take you to court. Not so much here, because what is happening is why they have stopped in US asking for previous salary. If you have evaluated him, if you have done the interview thoroughly, and if you have found him fit, so you have to offer the salary which that grade permits him to do. You can't say because you're getting less, so therefore I'll only give you 10% like we do. Hey, what is the current salary you're getting? I'll give you 10%, 15%, you start negotiating. Nothing of the time. Got it? You can give more than that, but you can't start him at a lesser than the minimum. So this is called green circle and red circle. Is this very clear?
Yes.
Comp ratio. Now,
Nirmala, one small question. Market corrections will happen in what durations? Like 5 years or 3 years? Is there any thumb of rule?
Absolutely, there's a thumb of rule. Typically, one fundamental principle is if a market is very, very dynamic. When I say very, very, very dynamic, you may not be in that market. You may be in a very stable market environment. Every type of industry, every industry is in a different type of market. The market forces which are there pushing that organization, they are different for different industries. Agreed?
Yes.
Okay. So therefore, like for example, an IT company which is into really very, progressive technology, etc. So the market forces, what was yesterday is obsolete. No?
Yes.
So there something else. So now, having said that, typically a market survey is done when economy is very good almost every year. Because what is the index? Number of people attracting, number of people you are able to attract every year. There was a time in India when actually IT was giving, doing a market survey and giving 6 months increment. There was a time when there was a huge boom. Okay. When the market is down, and what is the indicator? People don't jump. People don't leave jobs. Okay. It's okay for you to do it in once in 2 years or 3 years to know your cost of inflation, because that increment should at least cover your cost of inflation. Right?
Yes. Yes, continuation to the same. Like, for example, we did a market survey, like, for example, aging survey data. So for example, if a market data we have, so for example, if it is 5 years old, so can we do the aging factor, or what would be the duration?
I told you, I think right in the beginning, that 5 years data, I would say maximum 1 or 2 years. 5 years. Think about how market would have changed here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So we will not calculate, for example, if it's the data is more than 2 years, we will.
But
we will-
simple for this also, validate your data by actually asking your recruitment and also your HR business partner, how many people are attriting, what is the attrition? If high attrition is there and you are not able to attract people, that is, you are not able to close numbers, you are not able to get people on board, that's a clear indication there.
Okay.
If your attrition is benchmarking with your peer companies, attrition is okay. All right. You are able to close your numbers within that SLA time sufficiently. All right. Then that is a good indicator saying, hey, that means our salaries are good. We are able to attract. We are also able to retain. Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
Okay. Great. Welcome. So now you can also use compa ratios benefit for giving annual increments. So I, as an HR head, most of the HR will calculate all the compa ratios for all the individuals, employees across all departments during the annual increment. Tell me why? Anybody who can tell me? Now, typically your rating, performance rating can be not achieved, partially achieved, meet or exceeds, or anything. Poor, average, I mean, good and outstanding could be. Like here it is 1, 2, 3, 4 rating. Got it? Okay. Now, so there are people, say for example, you have people, different positions, say accounts, HR executives, who are having a comp ratio of what? 74% or 75%. Okay, 74%, less than 74%. Okay, and there is also a person who is also at a comp ratio between 75 to 115%. You know these percentages, please. These are those comp ratios we calculated.
Yes.
Okay. How did we calculate comp ratio also? You know.
Yeah.
Base salary divided by midpoint. Now, say for example, this is Maithili, who's at a 74% comp ratio, who's got a 4 ranking, exceeding targets. Same job, HR manager. And there is Seema, who is between 75 and 150. So what happens? I give higher increment. Both have done exceedingly well, but they're at a different comp ratios. Now, to maintain equity, salary equity, maybe because of certain thing, I brought her at a high comp ratio, etc. I will give a higher increment to the person who is at a lower comp ratio and a lower increment to higher comp ratio. So that in 1 or 2 years, I'm trying to gradually reduce that gap of inequity, pay differential. Are you with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Typically, but people will come and say, ma'am, I also got 4 ranking. That person also got 4 ranking. But why did I get less increment? Because you are at a higher base salary and that person is at a lower base salary. That means which is comp ratio. And somehow at that time, because otherwise it is creating salary compression. What is salary compression? That means people doing the same jobs, but getting different salaries, different pay difference. So there is a pay differential, which is leading to inequity. Because if you continue to have inequity, then people will have what? Demotivation, resentment, attrition high, etc. Are you with me, guys?
Yes.
Any questions? Quickly, you will have to download what you will do a small. I hope all of you have same groups, Vilma. They have an exercise on this comp ratios. 10 minutes. I hope all of you have that. Vilma?
Yes, they have it.
So I think 10 minutes is enough for that. Exercise
Yes.
of comp ratio?
Yes, yes. It's just a simple calculation. You can
Very simple calculation, but group is better because they can exchange notes and then we can actually then learn and also see what are those, learnings from that data as well. First, have you calculated? It will be good, go step by step. So there are two things you are requiring for a comp ratio. Base salary is given here, but midpoint is not given. So therefore, can you take out the midpoint?
This is the midpoint, 230,000.
Okay, done.
And the
So
comparison.
this is the min and max, the market midpoint. Yeah. So the midpoint here is the salary range is 55 and 90. So the midpoint is 23,000. Great. Okay. And then what is the comp ratio?
Comp ratio 2.39 for the salary one.
Can you do this calculation now here in front of me?
So I just want to know how we reach
Sorry,
2,30,000 as a midpoint.
Because
That's
my
what I want to
midpoint is
see.
coming as 725,000.
725.
No, no.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can
sorry.
you
Yes.
do the
Same here.
Vilma? Have you given them the midpoint or this is the salary range? Vilma?
they have to
I
calculate the
believe you are
comp
paying
ratio.
median market range median point.
Your midpoint would be your
You have
highest.
take the highest minus the lowest salary, 90,000 minus 55.
No, 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 1 second. So I'm just considering that the range is 55,000 to 90,000. Okay?
Correct.
55,000 to
Plus,
90,000.
no,
Now,
you
say for
have to
example,
plus
you have to calculate
add.
comp ratio for that 55,000. So what will you do? First of all, the midpoint. Let me see how they have done the midpoint. 90,000 minus 55,000, highest salary minus lowest salary.
Divided by
Plus
2.
person,
Divided
Yeah.
by 2
plus
plus
salary.
5,50,000.
Yeah, but you put
Put
55,000.
1
zero.
zero. Put one
Oh, sorry.
more zero.
Sorry. I put 55,000.
Yes,
No, now it's fine. Now it's fine.
Now it's fine.
Lowest salary divided by 2 plus.
Now, have you seen the comp ratio changes? Was that
Yes.
Rahul? Yeah. Okay. So the first one is about 75% or 0.75. Quickly. The second one is
86.
86.21.
86, 95,
100.
1.03 and 1.24. Okay. So all of you got this? All of you?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent.
You
So
can
you
convert
may
this
say,
into percentage. It's okay. Yeah.
okay. You can also convert it into percentage. Absolutely no problem. Okay. That's one point. Now, I wanted to tell you one or two more benefits of comp ratio. One is, I told you about the recruitment policy and also I told you about, annual increment, right? The third is from the international perspective. Think about it. I can also know that a comp ratio with a certain tenuity and experience, okay, for a male is at a 120 and a female is at 100. That means there is inequity. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Or for example, I can also see for a minority, right? I can also see, so this is how you will compare data. Because essentially comp ratio is nothing but where is that person in comparison to the midpoint. So it also gives you an indication of high cost, low cost. So comp ratio can be calculated at an individual level, at a functional level, at an organization level also. You may ask me why and what is the benefit? Can anybody just give me out of, top of mind? I mean, just think about it. If I'm calculating for an HR function, comp ratio, what is the benefit? What will I
Which
do?
department we can understand which department is paying out payer or which is below the budget?
Yeah, you are trying to get that right, but absolutely right. So hey, can you withdraw this? I mean, stop sharing.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. So quickly to tell you, this is very important. All of you can actually go back and do this. If you are actually payroll guys can actually do this very importantly. Okay. Say for example, I'm calculating for my HR function. Okay. My comp ratio is total all the employees comp ratio. Then do the average number of employees again. So it's 0.9. Finance 1.1. Sorry. 1.1. Okay. And then say for another example, marketing. Marketing. Say it's like 1.5. So you can do a bar chart also when you calculate. So what does it give? An indication, as rightly stated by somebody, it gives me an indication as to what kind of payroll cost is an HR function as a whole, payroll cost of finance, payroll cost of market. Okay. So typically high comp ratio, that means they are looking at. So you need to then go into detail as to, hey, with the benchmark, again, benchmark data of other companies, you think it is right, appropriate, where are we paying high? So you can further start analyzing. Even at an organization level, if your comp ratio is like, 1.5, that means you are already, 150% beyond the midpoint. That means fairly you have people who are sitting at a high cost, people who are highly tenured, most of them, almost retiring or almost at the end of, close to the maximum. Okay. So therefore it gives you an indication department wise. And then further on, you can also do sometimes what happens in comp ratios, you can maybe a particular function, the cost is very high, but you will see that, really you're not giving increment to the people who have to be given. For example, the top performers, if you look at comp ratios, what is the comp ratio? The average performers comp ratio. So you can also classify data in that. How? Top performers comp ratios, performers comp ratios, then average performers. Typically, you don't look at the average performer. And then you'll see sometimes why is average performer comp ratio is higher than top performers? What is it? So it gives you an indication on to get into the details, because what there is a whenever you get into the, because it's always the devil is in the details. Go deeper and deeper, and then you will know where, because ultimately compensation is about what? Paying right for the right person, right? So are you doing that? So many a times what happens, you are paying more, average performance comp ratio is very high. So then you will start looking at, hey, and top performers will start leaving because you are actually not getting proper increments or your budget is exceeding, etc. So are you guys, any questions here?
No.
But are you able to now link everything, your green circle, red circle, and comp ratios, etc.,
Yes.
and making sense of it? Okay. All right. So, so this is typically to show you, the same thing. Salary, market midpoint. Okay. So you can also not only do comp ratio, you can also do something called market penetration. That's another index. What is market penetration? Simply that if your market's midpoint is this much, where is the person or the market full range, the grade range max? So you can also calculate the index base salary divided by the max of that grade. Then you will know how far or how deeper is he into that range. Okay. So most of the organizations use range penetration and comp ratios to find out what kind of salaries, what kind of, wage costs are they sitting on. Okay, guys, and especially payroll guys, they can do this when they go back, and you will get a very great insight when you do a little bit of that analytics.
So Nirmala, just one quick question here. Is compare ratio, is it safe to assume that it would be effective when you're comparing it with one company that you're acquiring? For instance, to just measure the equity. So we take the compare ratio of your internal staff.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
But you can compare comp ratios only when you have actually then, stabilize the grades, right? The ranges, salary ranges.
Right. So after you evaluate and analyze the
Yeah,
job
after-
description part and then map them, then you can
Exactly.
come up with
Exactly. Yeah, because you can't do this without doing the, basic fundamentals.
that. Right.
Okay. Hey guys, so today we talked about external equity, salary survey, then comp ratios, market midpoint, max, min, percentiles, etc. Now, if you have any doubts, please ask me any questions. Okay. And um, it will be a pleasure to take up questions or any doubts. So I purposely left about a couple of minutes so that we can do a recap. Yeah. Any questions, guys?
Yeah, so ma'am, can we design promotion policy based on the comp ratio?
Absolutely. Most of the companies design their promotion policy, their recruitment policy based on the comp ratios, not based on what the data is. They will say, hey, this is what works at me. So my recruitment policy is, that I will only recruit between 80% comp ratio or 90% comp ratio. Only exceptional cases, because if you go beyond that, that means you are actually increasing your wage cost. Promotion policy. So you will say at 120% comp ratio, right?
Right.
Or maybe had. So you design promotion policies, recruitment policies based on this, even your increment policies.